I've always wanted to ask Facebook all of the questions.
Go ahead.
Well, let's start with the basic ones, which is first of all, do you want to give a little bit about your background?
Yep. So I joined Facebook 3 years ago. I work in London and I manage the platform team out of London. It's a team of 20 people. And we work with developers building apps on the Facebook platform. It can be apps on facebook.com, like gaming companies do. It can be apps on the web connected to Facebook. And it's also mobile apps connected with Facebook. And I would say that 80% of what we do is to work with gaming companies and to support the growth of the European ecosystem, which is eating the world right now. Everybody knows about King.com, Playtika, Nordius, Wuga. Well, that's what we do, and so our mission is to drive satisfaction, adoption, and monetization of the Facebook platform in Europe.
Okay, so I mean, obviously there's a separate track for casinos. So we all know that casinos are becoming an increasingly important component on Facebook. How important is it now?
It's extremely important for us. It's the number one category on Facebook. It's a category that never stops growing. Every year we see new companies out of nowhere coming up with amazing games, amazing IP, launching on Facebook, launching on mobile, making significant money. And our users just love that. They love to play social casino games on Facebook. They love to play on mobile. And we like to think that we can help to make that transition possible. So that category is very important, and we keep investing a lot in partners from Europe in that category. I mean, just look at it. We have two social casino categories in the top 5 grossing apps, Playtika and Double Down. So it's a very important category.
And tell me if I'm wrong. Someone came to me and said that obviously it's a growing portion of your revenue, but it could be as high as 50% of your revenue?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's less than that.
Okay, but growing.
Yeah, growing very fast. Thanks to the existing players. I mean, Playtika is growing very fast. Double Down, everybody knows the numbers are public every 3 months, is growing and monetizing better. And we've seen new successes on Facebook like House of Fun and Heart of Vegas from Product Madness, still growing as well. So yeah, it's definitely growing. It's becoming more and more sophisticated. It's not an easy game to play, but it's definitely growing fast. And the fact that by starting on Facebook, you can also be big on mobile. It attracts a lot of new talents and a lot of new entrepreneurs to the platform, and that's very good for us.
And so out of the ones you've mentioned, like Heart of Fun, Vegas, Fairway, what would you say that their secret sauce is? What makes them rise above the clutter?
So it's 2 different scenarios, because Heart of Vegas and Product Madness is doing a very good job at leveraging the IP they get from Aristocrats, and IP matters a lot on Facebook, especially in that category. Well, House of Fun, there's no IP, it's on Facebook, it's on mobile, it's just a game that has been made by experts in that category, people who really know the real money gaming business and also the social gaming business. So I would say it's both team of experts, people who know how to build good games, who can leverage IP when they have IP, who can monetize very well, but they also have amazingly good user acquisitions team. And so when you have companies with these 3 things, user acquisition, gaming, and obviously monetization, you have a decent hit in social casino. But it's actually pretty exceptional to find teams like that.
I mean, a number of, if you walk around and you listen to some of the people that are launching casinos app, oh, it's expensive, the cost per install is now higher, and I'm not monetizing as much. I mean, what advice do you give to these developers? I mean, is the space becoming too crowded?
I don't think so, because once again, the companies we see in that space right now are really experts in that field. They are not starting from a different industry. There are people coming from the real money gaming industry or people who have a background in social casino. So it's becoming more and more sophisticated because you have to master these 3 things. And once again, I can't think of one company who has these 3 pillars: user acquisition, good slot machines games or good social casino games, and monetization that doesn't work. I can't think of one that doesn't work. It's actually not a very risky space when you know the fundamentals and the basics of that industry, or when you have amazing IP.
But I mean, there are a couple that I've seen that were kind of restarts or failed from kind of an ancillary industry, and then they, oh, let's add casino. And so they don't have experience. Yeah. Obviously, they know how to acquire, and they know how to monetize the ish, but but they're not necessarily casino people, like coming from the
Yeah.
land-based casino or online casino. And how hard is it for them to kind of break in?
I think it's very hard.
It-
And gaming in general for people without any gaming experience is very hard. Sometimes some people are lucky or they are just good on day one. But if you have, especially right now on Facebook and on mobile, it's a game of experts or people with a track record in that space. So it's becoming more and more sophisticated. But this is also why you see better games every day, better monetization, and amazing stories like Product Madness or House of Fun or Playtika, who's still growing day after day after almost 5 years on Facebook.
So it's interesting. So all those companies that you just mentioned now, they have some tie to a land-based casino, whether it's Playtika and they're Caesars.
House
as
of
their
Fun does
owner.
not.
Oh, House of Fun is not. Yeah, you're right. But Product Madness is now Aristocrat,
Yep.
and Slotomania is now. So if you don't have titles that are land-based, I mean, someone showed earlier the Eilers report, which basically says that over 50% of the market on social is coming from a company that has some kind of tie with the land-based market.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that kind of tie, is it incredibly difficult?
No, it's not. I mean, it helps, of course, but Slotomania started without any proper IP, and once again, House of Fun proves that there is a space for people who are creative with good designers, people who are investing a lot in good games and good slots and can make it work. But of course, it's a good competitive advantage when you have IP. People love that, especially we've seen what happened with Jackpot Party in the US, and of course Double Down. But it helps, but you can succeed without that.
Do you think, I mean, from what I hear is like a lot of the designers are kind of pilfering some of the people from WMS, IGT, and Bally who are building the games. I mean, I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, and plus, I heard some companies who told me they are on LinkedIn all day looking for slot designers, freelancers, paying a lot of money, and it's a very profitable investment.
Yeah, I wish I
But
was a slot designer.
But some people thought it was an easy category, and we've seen a lot of money being burnt into that process. They thought anybody could do a slot game without any mathematic backgrounds or social casino or real money gaming background. So we've seen a lot of new ventures coming on Facebook or on mobile launching crazy slots games, not going anywhere. But that's not how it works. And it's the same thing in casual. It's extremely difficult to do a match 3. I mean, ask King.com. But it's extremely difficult. But I think somehow, and I don't know why some people believed that it was kind of easy or easier to do a slot machine on Facebook, because it seems easy to do.
Right.
It's very complicated. It takes a lot of very smart people and smart companies to make it work.
A lot of mathematicians. So, I mean, so to me, there's always two areas that are important. It's the quality of the game, like you said, but then there's something that especially Sean always likes to talk about, importance of brand. So there are not that many brands that have put their name to the casino. Even, Caesars has,
Yeah.
but they bought number one, so that's not that difficult to do. But there are not that many other companies that have launched with a brand.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could share what you think the importance is of that. Will it be able to? Can you raise above the clutter with a brand, or do you have to have great product and a brand?
Well, you can't be successful just with the brand. Look at the top grossing list on Facebook and iOS. You clearly see that some big brands are not where they should be. So having the brand is not enough. Once again, it's all about the product, the slots, if it's slots. But if you have a brand, it doesn't hurt, especially the ones you mentioned. But the game is, of course, the most important thing. Having a brand might help you for user acquisition and to get people to discover or to install your application. But then it's all about the game. And this is why we've seen a lot of big brands like that from the US or Vegas trying to buy European companies because they know they will find the good games here, and that the brand alone is clearly not enough.
And wait, so that's interesting. So you think that the better games, or better games? That's horrible English. Over here rather than in the US.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I think about the recent success stories and the most successful companies in that space, it's coming from Europe, and in Europe, it's coming from Tel Aviv. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a hotspot. I mean, in the gaming division, if you look at the top 10 grossing partners we have in Europe, 5 of them are in Tel Aviv, and 4 of them are doing social casino app. So there's definitely a pattern and some local expertise on that coming from Europe.
That's interesting.
And you've heard about all these American companies fishing for acquisitions. They're all looking at acquisitions in Europe, all of them. And so this is why you don't have that many independent companies left on the market.
And what about the concept of them buying? I mean, there's the big ones, and then you have the relatively big ones, which are the ones that you were talking about from Israel.
Yep.
You know, not the IGTs and the,
Yep.
you know, but the Dragon Play, right, and that whole
DWIP,
Best Casino,
Plan B.
DWIP with Best Casino.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this much smaller level. I mean, if for a land-based casino to pull out a checkbook for $100 million, which I can't imagine any of them going for anything less than that, versus something that's like 10 or 20, is that a riskier strategy?
I don't think so. You know, remember when IGT bought Double Down? I met the guy who made the deal at IGT, Robert Melendres. And he told me when he made the deal for $500 million, and that was 2 years ago, people said he was crazy. People said he was wasting the company's money. The stock went down. He almost got fired. I mean, it was tough.
He's not there now.
Yeah, I know. But look at what happened to IGT. I mean, Double Down is now driving the growth and the profits of the entire company, and they make 35 cents per DAU, I think, latest public numbers. So, you know, if you do a good job at integrating the company, the IP, and I mean, it can drive significant profit for the acquirer. But I think the Double Down is a good example, because everybody thought it was a bad idea, and it was a $500 million idea, and it turned out to be a very good business decision.
If you want to back up, everyone thought that Caesars was crazy, and then when Double Down was bought by IGT, everyone thought that Caesars was genius.
True.
So it's interesting. We haven't seen any massive acquisitions or IPOs. You think that there's ones on the horizon? I mean, other than Caesars consolidating, I'm talking about someone new pulling out a checkbook.
No, because I think the M&A market is so active, and I hear every day, and I get calls every day from big guys trying to buy small guys, asking for names and companies. So I think, you know, on their way eventually to the IPO, these companies will get bought, because they are highly profitable companies. It's a very profitable business on Facebook and also on mobile.
And speaking of mobile, what is the success? I mean, if you're giving advice to a company that's trying to get into the sector, obviously you have a bias to launch on Facebook, but the ability to grow both on Facebook and on mobile, or as you say, Canvas, you know, what is the secret to the success there, to be able to grow on both? Because if you're sort of resource constrained and you're like, well, I either have to be a mobile provider, like even we heard with like Bettable, right? Well, we're mobile first, or no, we're Facebook first, like with Vegas World. So
no, I know people say that, you know, go mobile first, forget about Canvas. But I also know anecdotally that if you look at the top 30 grossing apps on mobile right now, 50% of them started on Facebook. So there's something happening. I mean, there's a reason why King.com keeps shipping games on Facebook and then on mobile. Canvas became somehow like a sandbox for a successful launch on mobile, a very successful sandbox. I mean, you've seen the numbers, but there are $3 billion to be made on Facebook this year, and some companies are running away because they believe, you know, Canvas is dead and mobile is the only thing. But there are $3 billion to be made on Facebook, and some entrepreneurs, especially in Europe, especially in the social casino space, absolutely understood that. Look at, you know, once again, Playtika, House of Fun, Nordius, Wooga. So what we've seen is that launching on Facebook helps you to be successful on mobile. And you know, House of Fun has proved that, and I can bet that when Heart of Vegas will launch on mobile, it's going to be a huge hit as well. I mean, it's actually not very risky, because if it works on Facebook, and if you have the right user acquisition team, it's going to work on mobile, guaranteed. I can't think of a counterexample in that space in Europe.
That worked on Facebook that didn't work on mobile.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I can't think of one.
And if there's one, I mean, we have a team in Europe willing to help and who's, you know, paid for that, so we'd love to help. Unity.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I know you guys have been pushing quite hard.
Yep.
And just wondering if you can share with us what you think the benefits are. I mean, the apps that I've seen are absolutely stunning. So visually they're fantastic, but what are the risks and benefits of it?
The benefits are that with Unity, you become a cross-platform company almost overnight. You know, coming from Facebook to mobile or mobile to Facebook, and we see a lot of companies doing that. The problem is the adoption of the Unity plugin, which is growing every day. It's now 50% of our gaming user base. I think it's 130 million people. but it's not 100%. It's not 260 million people using Unity. So there is a risk here. So you might lose some people on the way, but as the world is going cross-platform, and being on Facebook being on Facebook alone is clearly not enough. Being on mobile alone is clearly not enough. Unity helps to fix that problem, and so do we. I mean, the ambition of Facebook is not to be a platform just on Facebook.com. We want to be a cross-platform platform with product like Parse, and I think Unity can help us to get there. Maybe not in that category first, maybe more in the mid-core/hardcore category, but we're making a big bet on Unity ourselves.
Yeah, one of the negatives for the real money gaming industry is that they need to work out their model and what they're charging the real money developers, because it's quite high right now. I think they're trying to figure that out. But I guess that's the risk of being first on a platform like that.
It is.
Yeah, it's something like in the hundreds of thousands.
But we have Unity experts in the team. We spend a lot of time helping Unity-based companies to go from mobile to Facebook, like Deer Hunter. We've done that with them, and the other way around. And it was the big bet for us last year. And you will see a lot of new games from new companies who've never done anything with Facebook launching big games on Unity this year.
Nice. One area that's been quite deficient is the B2B side. And I'm always screaming because I've got a number of clients in the US with fairly large brands, but as you said, the brand alone doesn't help, and you need to have it supported by a decent product.
Yeah.
And I find it very hard to find decent B2B product on Facebook and mobile.
Yeah.
Because inherently, everyone wants to be the next Double Down, right? They think they could be the next Double Down, and so they think B2B is a distraction. Also, it doesn't help that you take 30% and Apple takes 30% out of the model, which leaves very little left on a B2B when you have to do customer acquisition. So have you guys thought about maybe changing your business model? How are you going to help promote the B2B side of the business? Because it's been a challenge.
Yeah, but this is not an opportunity we're looking at right now. Because we believe the B2C opportunity is so huge, and plus it helps us to create an ecosystem of developers, entrepreneurs, and companies, in every possible country, and that's what Facebook is about. Facebook is a platform company. We want to build an ecosystem, so that move is not something we are considering for the moment.
Really? That sucks. Okay.
Sorry about that. But between Facebook and mobile, there's decent money to be made, and we know that we can bring something to the table when it comes to distribution, engagement, driving engagement, re-engagement, monetization, especially on mobile with the mobile app ads product that we launched that is responsible for the growth of our revenues and what happened to Facebook recently. So I think so far so good.
And one of the things I think you guys have gotten extremely good at over the past couple of years is the ability to take the data or take the players that are on your platform and be able to target to those players in a really efficient manner. Yeah. Is that something that you guys are going to continue to invest in? What are the next big areas of focus?
Yeah, of course. You're talking about the lookalike and the custom audience products that we launched, but yeah, it's very good for gaming companies because they can decide to target on Facebook or on mobile, specific users or just the whales or just the people you want to reactivate. So that used to be Facebook best kept secrets, but now everybody, especially in that category, knows about it. But this is our business model, so we're going to keep innovating here, and especially when it comes to bringing people from the web to mobile. That's something that we are obsessed with, and we do a lot of things for that, on the platform side and on the advertising side.
Another area that hasn't performed quite well, and it's not just on Facebook, it's all social, is sports. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Do you see any catalyst for change? I have my opinions about why it is, but I'd love to hear from yours.
So it's an anomaly because that's one of the biggest category on consoles, on mobile, but we haven't seen anything significant on Facebook. Of course, everybody knows about Top 11, which is the only application that has been growing every day since they started on Facebook. But nobody has really cracked the code. But people know there is a lot of money to be made on Facebook in that industry. So there are a lot of games coming actually in the next 3 months in that space. Because everybody knows there's something to be done, but nobody has cracked the code. Even EA has tried, and it didn't work.
Yeah, look, I manage what they call the launch pad for Clarion Gaming. So they've got something at EIG in the fall, which is the biggest online gaming conference, and then also Gigsy, which was in the spring, now in the summer, which is the biggest US online gaming conference. And I get 30 submissions for online gaming, 90% of which are social sports.
Yeah.
And yet I have yet to see one do well.
Yeah, but once again, a lot of very smart people and big companies are working on it right now. So you should see some apps coming on Facebook and on mobile very soon, especially with the World Cup.
I guess, me being the skeptic, after looking at so many of these and reading so many business plans of really bright people, successful people in the real money gaming industry, I wonder sometimes if social sports betting is already huge and it's just called fantasy,
And it's top 11.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't think so. I think there's a really big opportunity.
I hope.
Yeah.
And then I guess one of my last questions has to do with a year and a half ago now, you guys launched Real Money.
Yeah.
You've got how many partners now? 5 that are offering Real Money? 4. 1 doing each vertical, would you say? Casino, bingo?
No, 888 does it all.
Okay.
We have Bonza, Game6,
Paddy.
Paddy in the sports category, so we have 4.
Okay, and do you, would you characterize them as being as successful as you thought?
So it's too early to tell if it's working or if it's not working, and we just launched in the UK only.
Yeah.
And as we were doing this, we also noticed that the world and our partners were shifting to mobile. And so this is why a few weeks ago we announced that we opened the Facebook platform on mobile to real money gaming companies, which is something you couldn't do before with Facebook login and some of the viral channels that we have. And this is why we see most of the interest in the industry, and we somehow pivoted to that, to mobile for real money gaming partners. But it's too early to tell if it's a success or not on Canvas. But Bonza seems to be doing well, but it takes a lot of effort, a lot of sophistication, and once again, a very dedicated team. It should not be like a distraction on top of your existing business. And one of the reasons Bonza is doing well is because the company was created just for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the opposite, you take Gamesys, which was your first partner. I mean, I would argue that they could have reached market saturation on their, for real money gaming, for soft, for bingo.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, well, if I have a database of 70% of the UK market, do I want to be sharing that with you? So it becomes tough because you want to work with the best, but sometimes the best are close to market saturation.
And plus after that, mobile happened, New Jersey happened, so real money gaming on Canvas was also not their top priority, and we absolutely understand that, and this is also why we shifted and pivoted to mobile and New Jersey.
Yeah. And are you thinking about taking this out to Italy and other regulated markets?
Not for the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because mobile is eating the world, and we want to be at the place that obsess our partners, and everybody's obsessed with mobile. Okay. So we have to make it work on mobile.
Wow, interesting. Okay, and if you were to give a piece of advice, just how would you, best monetize the Facebook platform? Is it on mobile right now?
Well, on mobile, Facebook is not a monetizing platform for the moment. We are an advertising channel.
Well, it's a customer acquisition channel.
Yeah. So we can help people to grow, and I think most of the social casino companies in the world are using mainly Facebook to drive user acquisition. And I think mobile app ads and custom audience and lookalike are amazing products that are helping a lot of companies to grow. But once again, I still believe that there are more than $3 billion to be made on Facebook this year for gaming companies, and some bloggers or entrepreneurs in the Valley believe that it's a dead end. But I know that some European companies, especially in Israel, especially in Russia, in Helsinki, in Berlin, in London, will grab that opportunity. And once again, everybody wants to be big on mobile, but one of the best ways to be big on mobile is to start on Facebook, as we've seen. 50% of the top 30 grossing app have done so.
And where do you think, if you had to say in 2 years, where do you think Facebook will be? Do you think it'll be increasing its revenue on casinos? Do you think maybe even there'll be so many casino apps that you're going to have to limit it?
No, I think I don't see that. That's the only company that keeps growing. The more games you put, the bigger it becomes. There's no cannibalization between these guys. Everybody keeps growing. And I think it's still going to grow because, once again, a lot of millions of Facebook users just love that experience. and the thrill of playing social casino games with their friends on Facebook. Sometimes they pay for that, sometimes they don't pay, but they enjoy the experience. So I don't see that going away anytime soon. But what I know is that they will also play on mobile. Some of them have not shifted yet, but they will certainly will. And we want to be the platform that makes it possible.
And any plans for you guys to get more involved in mobile other than as an acquisition advertising platform?
Not so far.
Not so far.
No. I mean, it's a good business to be
I'm sure.
the number one or the very relevant user acquisition channel these days. So we're going to stick to that.
Okay.
Thanks, Melissa.
Anyone have any questions? I went through all my questions. I can't believe that. I didn't think I was going to get through them all. I guess you talk faster than I do.
My fault.
You have the demographics on these people playing social casino on Facebook? Women, men, age. You must have it. What is it?
I don't have it on top of my mind right now, but it's the typical American female above 35, same thing in Australia, in the UK.
Is that consistent with the general, basically, bulge in your own traffic? Never mind just social casino?
The average Facebook user is very different from that.
Right.
But
What is that? No.
I think it's somebody who's between 25 and 35.
Okay.
I think it's 50% male, 50% female.
Okay.
But that category is very specific, as you all know here.
Do you see that changing?
Yeah, people get older. So it's changing. If you compare the Facebook of today to the Facebook of 7 years ago. But once again, Facebook keeps growing in users, in revenues. And so the average profile of the Facebook users has changed as well. But I think we have a pretty good coverage on that specific demographic, especially in the US. But the US is not, I mean, it's good, but it's not the only place. Australia is good, the Nordics are good, France, Germany. There are many good places to fish for our customers.
Anyone else? One more?
Yeah, just a quick question. Where does Facebook allow real money gambling ads for mobile nowadays? In which jurisdictions?
It's UK only for the moment. And we announced that, I think, 2 months ago. So we're testing it right now with 2 partners. But that's sorry?
Where?
We had a real money gaming breakfast in London for the local companies. If you have not been invited, make sure we talk to each other. But it was announced 2 months ago as a test.
Was a test in the UK?
In the UK, yeah.
Okay. The UK is working already. Is there like other jurisdictions?
Just in the UK, but it's once again, it's too early to tell if it's the best thing that ever happened to our partners or if it's just a bad idea. But we want to bring the same virality or the same distribution or the same social experience.
No, it's actually working well in the UK. We're doing it first, like in our company, and it's working well. I just wondered if Facebook actually opens it for other markets.
I hope so.
Is this for real money? Because I can't hear over here.
Yeah. Real money gaming on mobile.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Good.
Well, great.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Thanks,
you.
Melissa.
Thanks. And just in closing, I want to thank all of you for staying throughout the day. It's been an interesting day, a little bit of a departure from your traditional social gaming topics of conversation, but I think interesting nonetheless. Thank you very much for all your participation and loyalty.
Thanks, Melissa.